In 1998, when I went to the Olympia, flex was the successor.
Yeah.
Everybody said flex was going to win.
Because there was a stretch there. Lee had took it over. Lee had won 8 straight. Lee retired.
No. It was
Dorian Yates come in 6 straight. So that's 14 years.
Yeah.
They've only had 2 guys to win the O.
Yep.
Lee Haney, he retires after 8. Dorian Yates wins 6. He retires. Now, flex is the natural. Everybody's like, hey.
It's all flex. It's flex show to lose.
Okay.
And I wasn't nowhere in there because I hadn't got nowhere in the top 5.
Right.
So it was Flex, Nasser, Sean, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 98 Olympia, that's who they was calling out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, here we go again. I got 9th the year before, and I'm like, if I could only make the top 5, man, I'll be happy and satisfied because I'm really just doing this for, free membership to the gym. I ain't really thinking about winning Olympia, and that never even occurred to me.
Right.
Because like I said, where I'm from, nobody did bodybuilding. We didn't know anything about it.
Correct.
Brian taught me everything I knew about bodybuilding. Well, the only thing was Flex was winning all the shows, and, they were, had those guys, picked to win, be the successor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Flex called me on the phone one day. He's like, man, who you working with? I'm like, dude, I'm doing my own thing. He's like, oh man, I got this guy, Chad Nichols. He could, make he can dial you in and make a difference in your physique. So I called Chad. Chad didn't call me back. So I called Flex again. Flex, this guy's not calling me back, man. You told me to call this guy and he was going to help me out, and he ain't calling me back. He's like, no, just keep calling. He'll call you back. So I called him again. Well, this time he called me back, and I hooked up with him. He changed everything I was doing. He changed my diet. I went from eating 5 meals a day to eating 6 meals a day.
Okay.
I went from 10 ounces to 12 ounces of protein with each meal to 16 ounces.
You eating a pound of protein a meal?
I'm eating a pound of protein a meal. And I'm trying everything in my power to stuff this food, and it ain't working. So I'm like, man, he said I gotta eat this food to get big. So I just kept eating and eating. My body finally adjusted to it. I was finally able to, it took about 3-4 months.
Wow.
For my body to adjust 100 grams of protein with each meal. We talking about 100 grams of chicken, steak, turkey. That's all.
Were you eating fish back then?
No, I didn't eat fish.
Okay.
Chad didn't have me on fish, and I didn't really too much care for fish either.
Okay.
Because I'd eat fish and I'd be hungry.
I sure hope you had a lot of fiber in your system. Boy, you gonna be back.
He had me on all kind of fiber supplements. And I was going to the bathroom after each meal.
Man, that's
5 times a day.
100 grams of protein?
Yep. And another thing was, I couldn't eat 5 meals. I've worked full-time police department. I'm working working out every day. I'm doing cardio. That's another thing Chad did. He increased my cardio from 1 hour a day to 2 hours a day. And I'm like, oh man, you really doing a number on me here. Right. And I made it work. Right. And like I said, I was finally able to eat those 100 grams of protein. The only thing was I couldn't get the 6 meals in. So Chad was like, well, you need to eat this food if you want to get big. She said, try waking up in the middle of the night, eating a meal and going back to bed. So that's what I did. I went to bed every night about 4 o'clock. And I would wake up.
4 o'clock in the afternoon?
No.
4 o'clock in the morning because you work in the police?
Yeah, I'm working police department. So I would get up at 7, eat a meal, go back to bed at 8.
Okay.
A whole hour. Well, it worked out pretty good. And they caught on, and I was able to do an hour in the morning on the treadmill I had right by my bed. Mm-hmm. I get out of bed, Jump right on the treadmill.
Was it fasted cardio?
Yep, fasted cardio.
Okay.
So I did that, and when I finished that, I would eat my first meal, go to the gym. I got there about 12:30, almost 1. I only worked out an hour.
Okay.
Each day, 1 hour, maybe hour 15 minutes at the most.
Okay.
I would get home about 2:15, somewhere in there. I would take a shower, get dressed, go to work. I had to be there at 3.
Okay.
I got there at 3, and I would eat my next meal at 3. And we get a 45-minute lunch break. So I'd eat my next meal at that lunch break. And I got off at 11 o'clock every night. So I would come home, eat another meal, take a shower and everything, and sit around, do some email. And I would eat my last meal, which was a protein shake. Mm-hmm. I just drank 100-gram protein, and I go to bed, like I said, around about 4 o'clock. And that was my whole day.
Right.
And that was my camp. You know, I didn't go no strip clubs. I didn't go out to no clubs. I didn't go.
You ain't had no time.
I ain't had no time. There you go. But come to find out, Flex told me, man, I went to the strip club every day when I got out of my workout. They had already told me I was going to win the Olympia. I'm like, what? You did what? And he's like, yeah, that's what I did. I'm like, dude, I didn't go to no strip club. I didn't go nowhere. Right. You know, it was job, worked the gym, back home.
So basically, you're eating like every 3 hours, every 2.5 hours?
Exactly. Every 3 hours I'm eating a meal.
Every 3 hours you're eating a meal.
Yep. And it's working out pretty good. Everything going according to plan. And so 1998 Olympia rolls around. Everybody's saying Flex gonna win, you know, and we get to the show. They calling out Flex, NASA, Kevin, Sean. I'm like, oh man, here we go again. All I want to do is make the top 5 and I'll be okay. Well, somewhere along the line, they started calling me out.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, things looking up. I might have a chance to make this top 5.
Right.
Well, I can remember like it was yesterday. I'm like, you know, we standing there, all 6 of us on stage, and I'm like, you know, I don't want to be called 6. I mean, I'm like, God, please don't let me be called 6. They called out 6th place, and it wasn't me. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. And I'm like, okay, I got 5th, you know. I've accomplished my dream. Did what I always wanted to do, make the top 5. 5th place call, it wasn't me. I'm like, wait a minute now. Uh-oh. Something going on here. 4th place call, it wasn't me. I'm like, oh, man. Every time it came time for a name to be called, I'm expecting to hear my name. All the way up to me and Flex standing on stage.
You and Flex standing on stage. I remember like yesterday.
And I knew in my heart that I was going to get 2nd place because they already said Flex was going to win.
Right.
So I'm thinking the whole time they're going to call Flex's name for 1st, and I can remember like yesterday. They called out Flex's name for 2nd, and I'm like, and called me out for 1st. I'm like, oh man, they done made a mistake. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, they wouldn't make a mistake that big, and I hit the floor.
Yep.
And I was out, pretty much out cold. I fainted just like that. Wow. And the only thing I remember was Vicky coming on stage and helping me get up off that floor. And I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know I was down on the floor that long until I watched the tape. Flex came over and said something to me. Chris came over and said something to me. I ain't heard a word.
You don't remember none of that?
I don't remember none of that. And when I got up, I'm like, oh man, I don't want the Olympia. This is the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. I never in a million years thought I'd win the Olympia. I never even dreamed of winning the Olympia because I didn't think it was possible.
But Ronnie, as you're prepping for the show, like you said, okay, we know Dorian retired.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, Flex. Great symmetry, those round belly muscles,
everything.
Pleasing. When you look at the Sandow statue, that's Flex. It seems like it's Flex. It seems like Flex Wheeler. And so, how's your prep? Are you looking at yourself every couple of weeks? Are you looking like, well, damn, I'm getting a little bigger, I'm getting a little leaner, as big as I am, as lean as I am? Because you always going to be the bigger man on stage. Basically, the only guy during that time that could challenge you for size was Nasser.
Nasser, exactly.
He was the only one. Everybody else was going to have to beat you with lines, with peak conditioning. Because when it came to size, nobody could touch you.
Nope, nobody had that.
But you had to be looking at yourself like, well, okay. You start to see the Christmas tree start to come in. You start to see the lat. When you do the rear lat,
everything was coming in.
Yes.
Everything was coming in. Only thing was, I was working with Chad Nichols, and the night before the show, he had me eat so many carbs. I mean, I was eating 1,000 milligrams of carbs a day.
So you got your carbing up.
Yeah, and he started that like on Wednesday or Thursday. I forget whatever the day was. And I was stuffing myself with food. And I felt pretty good, you know, because when I was prepping for the contest, I could only eat 125 to 150 grams of carbs a day.
A day.
And that's like 2 meals, three at the most. And when he put me on those 1,000, man, I felt like I was in heaven.
Right.
I mean, it was the greatest feeling ever. 1,000 milligrams of carb every single day. And by the time I got to Friday, I was so stuffed. I was so full. I lost my conditioning. I'm like, oh, man, I done messed up again. Oh, I blew my chance to make the top 5 and everything. So I'm like, called Chad, like, Chad, man, I done messed up, man. The biggest mistake ever. He's like, I like, all my conditioning is gone. He's like, man, don't worry about that. I got you.
Right.
So he come out of the room, give me some kind of powder, put some water in it, drink that. I'm okay. I'm like, okay. Man, I must stay up all night going to the bathroom. I woke up the next morning. I'm so nervous. I ain't looking at a mirror. I don't even see myself. And every time I got close to a mirror, I would look away. I remember backstage, I'm like, I don't want to see how I look because I know I look pretty bad after seeing myself last night. So I avoided all mirrors that whole entire morning, the whole entire day, actually. I didn't know how I looked until the pictures came out in the magazine.
Wow.
Yeah, back then we didn't have camera phones.
No, you didn't have camera phones. But Ronnie, you know, being backstage, and I've been backstage and seeing you guys at the Olympia and the Arnold, but guys know, like, damn, man, Ronnie look good. You see how big and full Ronnie look. Man, you see Nasser. You see. So were there not whispers going on? Because
I didn't hear anything. I was so, you know, focused on me and trying to make the top 5 that. I mean, when Joe Wheeler even came back there, he never said anything to me. He's like, man, I need you on my team. And he's like, I can get you guest posters all around the world. All you got to do is join my team. I'm like, you want me on your team? Like, dang, Joe, I must look pretty good. He's like, yeah, you look real good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. This guy
he just gassing you up.
He's just gassing me up. He ain't really serious about that. Come to find out he was serious about it. And I still didn't get it. Mm-hmm. I still didn't know how good I looked because I avoided every mirror that I came by. Mm-hmm. So like I said, when they called me for first, I lost it. I mean, I was in complete shock.
Other than working with Chad, he changing your diet.
Everything I was doing.
Your weight scheme, the sets that you did. Back then, there was no such thing as time under tension. It seems to be the way to go now. Is that you bring the rate down. It's a three tempo down, whole 3 tempo up. Ronnie, you lifting weights, but I noticed when I look at your physique back then, and I look at the guys now, they don't seem as grainy. You used a lot of barbell. You wasn't a machine guy.
I wasn't a machine guy.
You did flat bench. You did heavy dumbbells. You did shoulder press.
Exactly.
You did T-bar. You did barbell roll.
Yep.
You did iron.
Everything was pretty much free weight.
Yes.
And I probably did maybe 1 or 2 machines.
Right.
and everything was heavy.
Yes. But even the last couple of weeks when guys are normally tapering off as far as weight, you were still lifting because I think you were probably like a month out when you squatted 800 a deadlift.
No, I was a month out when I deadlifted at 800.
Right.
But when I squatted it, I was probably like 3 months out.
3 months out.
But I was a whole lot heavier too.
Right.
So that's why that 800 was so light to me. I was full of carbs. I wasn't dieting.
Right.
And it was super light. I mean, I couldn't believe how light it was.
So you win that Olympia in 98. You got to be on top of the world. You're like, man, is it everything that you thought it would be? It can't be because you didn't even envision yourself winning it.
No, exactly.
So you win that. When you get back to your room and you order that Pizza Hut and you and Vicky talking, what's going through your mind, Ronnie?
I'm still in shock. I still can't believe I won. It still hadn't hit me yet. But you know, I'm so overjoyed. I'm like in another world pretty much because I can't believe I just won the Mr. Olympia, the biggest bodybuilding contest in the world. Something that like I said, I didn't even dream of it. I never even thought I had a chance, but I put in the work. You know how disciplined us football players are.
You got to be.
And I stuck to my routine. I never ever cheated on my diet. I didn't go out. I didn't party. I didn't do anything but work on my body and went to work every day. That was all I did. And that happened every single contest. You know, I'm always going, you know, how we are. We're always going to challenge ourselves.
Yes.
You know, to be the best.
Right.
You know, even though we are not the best, we're going to challenge ourselves to be the best. And like I said, I had so much passion for it. It was the easiest thing in the world for me to go to the gym each and every single day. And then I fell in love with working for the police department also. So I had two things that I look forward to doing each and every single day. Going to the gym and going to work. I mean, I love working for the police department. It was so much fun, and it gave me a chance to escape being a bodybuilder.
Right.
You know, when I'm at work, I'm just Ronnie Coleman, police officer, not Ronnie Coleman, the bodybuilder. And that's all I'm thinking about because people out there trying to kill you. So I'm thinking about, you know, saving my life. Yeah, I'm thinking about making it home each and every single night. But at the same time, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm loving what I'm doing because every single day, it was something different. Mm-hmm. It was never the same day every single day. And that's what I look forward to, doing something different every single day. And I had so much passion for working for the police department, I would do it for free. And in actuality, that's what happened in 2001 when they told me I could no longer work for the police department.
Why you couldn't work for them?
Because I was taking off too much. I would take off for like 3 months for the Olympia. Every show I would do, I would take about almost maybe 2 months to a month sometimes. But the regular show, there wasn't that much time.
But Ronnie, you weren't really doing but one show. I can only recall you doing maybe a handful of times. You did 2 shows of the season. You did the Arnold in 01, and you did the O in 01. But for the most part, you didn't do but one show.
One show every year, but you know, that one show was the most important thing.
For sure.
In the world to me. And I also did the European tour after.
Yeah, you did the tour, yeah.
Every single year. So Miss Olympia and then the tour. And on the tour, we had like sometimes 7 shows.
Right.
And I would do 7 shows in 11 days. And you know, that's a grind.
It is.
I mean,
because traveling, you're gonna hold water.
Exactly.
It's hard when you fly overseas. You on that.
I remember this one show, this one tour. I was doing everything in my power to get rid of water. No matter what I did, it wouldn't come off. I'm getting 5th place, 6th place. Everybody's beat me, and Kevin is winning every show. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, how is he winning all these shows? How is he keeping his conditioning? So I put a flex wheel on him. I went by his room like, it was almost midnight when I got there. He had his room. He was still up. I'm like, man, what are you doing to win all these shows? How are you keeping your conditioning? He goes over to his coffee maker, pulled out his coffee maker, poured me a cup of coffee, and then he pulled out a bottle of vodka and poured that in the coffee. I'm like, what the hell are you gonna do with that? He's like, here you go. I'm like, dude, I don't drink no vodka, man. I can do the coffee, but not the vodka. He's like, you wanted to know what I was doing. This is what I'm doing to win these shows. I'm like, okay.
You just tried anything. They give you old concoction. Like, okay.
Okay. I drank that coffee. I'm like, man, this ain't too bad. Give me another cup.
But you up peeing all night, though.
I'm up peeing all night again. And I go to the show the next day, and man, I win. I beat Kevin. It was in 1997, so that was a pretty big deal for me.
Yeah.
I never in my life beat Kevin. My whole time. Kevin won the 91 men's national. That's where he turned pro at.
Right.
And he got second in the Olympia the next year. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, hey, things looking up for me. I got a chance to do something in this sport now.
Right.
So I put that all behind me, and I never did that coffee and vodka thing again. Right. Plus, I hooked up with Chad. He had something better than that. He had some kind of powder. He would pour it in he would put it in the glass and put some water in it. Drink this. I'm like, okay. And it would have me going to the bathroom for like 2 hours straight, every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just dropping all his water. And it worked pretty good.
But don't you worry about, Ronnie, when you do that, or flattening out? Because a lot of times the water is what's in the muscle. It gives you that full look, and sometimes you can flatten out. I've seen guys look so good the day before the show, and then get on the show. I'm like, bro, what did you do?
That's why I was eating 1,000 milligrams of carbs every single day, so I wouldn't flatten out, and I never did. Them carbs really did a number on me, did the trick.
Because
so
it's a balance
was on to something.
Because you cut your water.
Yep.
And now you put the carbs in to pull the water to put the water back into the muscle.
Exactly. And
it's like a science project, really it is.
Yep. And another kick I never told nobody this, we would use insulin to make it go faster. Insulin would push it in the muscle real quick, real fast.
Right.
Where, if you tried it without it, it wouldn't work as good.
Right.
And all of that, it worked to a T. I know I was big on stage. I was ripped. I was full.
Yes.
And that's how I beat those guys.
Wow. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what was your rep and set scheme?
Yep. He had me doing like 20 reps, to start out my
with that heavy ass weight?
No. This is a warm up.
Okay, I was gonna say, man, you doing with that heavy ass weight?
And I'm pyramiding up every set. So I would start out at like 135 on the bench, 20 reps, put another plate on there, 15 reps.
Okay.
Put another plate on there, like 12 reps. And my last weight with another plate would be 10 reps.
So
nothing under 10. Yeah, nothing under 10. And if you watch me work out, I'm never locking out.
No.
And the reason for that is I'm trying to keep the tension on the muscle the whole time. And then when you lock out, you hurt your joints. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of joint pain.
Right.
And I stayed as far away from that as possible.
Okay.
And people thought I was doing half reps. I'm like, no, I ain't doing no half rep. I'm doing a full rep on the muscle.
Right.
I ain't using my joints at all. And I never had any joint problems. Even to this day, I'm still doing 20 reps with everything.
How difficult was it for you? Because, Ronnie, some of the time, when I saw you in 01, and we're going to talk about this, I believe 01 was the best I've ever seen anybody build, and I've been to a lot of shows.
Everybody said that.
You was 257, and I remember
47.
How much, 247?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at you, I'm like, I don't believe any bodybuilder, even at their peak, could beat Ronnie today? I'm talking about Lee. I'm talking about Dorian. I'm talking about Samir.
Yep.
I'm talking about, at that point in time, Ronnie.
Everybody said that. Everybody said that.
Did you know when you went into obviously you looking at yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So, but you knew that you're like, it's over. Y'all ain't got no chance.
Yeah, I ain't got no chance. I was so ripped. My brother said I was skiing the skull.
You was. Yeah, you was. I mean,
you could see the
onion skin.
On my brain, you could see how hard I was. You know, you could practically see my skull. I was so hard. That's why he called it skiing the skull.
Have you ever been able? Because as you started moving up, and I think 03 is you stepped on the stage around about 290, 295?
285.
285.
The heaviest I've ever been in my life.
Now, we're never going to see a man that size, that condition again.
Never.
But I still believe 2001 was the best condition you've ever been.
Everybody says that, but I always go back to 98. I look at those 98 pictures, and that was me coming out with a brand new car. I looked that good.
Right.
And, once you get a new car, it's kind of hard to keep it new.
Right.
So I call, me kind of like sharpening it up every show, and I'm getting a little bigger every show. But I'm keeping my conditioning down.
Right.
And in 2001, I took it to another level by staying on a diet after the Olympia and coming in that much harder.
Yes.
That's probably that's the hardest I've ever been, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said that conditioning is the best ever.
Nobody. And look, that's not a slight on any bodybuilder past or present.
Nope, exactly.
And I followed this sport for 40 years. Nobody at their best could beat you that day.
And I totally agree with you. So that was a physique.
you tell the story about how insulin would help put it. So when did growth get implemented to the sport? Because we see,
I think that was always it was always there. A lot of people think that growth makes you big, but it doesn't. It kind of makes you lean.
Yes,
it does what it said. It helps you to grow taller. It was actually made for
dwarfism.
Kids,
that suffer from dwarfism, mitochondrial dwarfism,
exactly,
things of that nature. Yes,
but it don't really make you big. It makes us a little bit harder.
Yes,
and everything that you can use to get hard, you pretty much use it. And GH was one of those things.
But it was very expensive. Very expensive. And a whole lot of people could afford it back then.
No, especially when you're getting it from the pharmacy and you ain't got no insurance. You can't use insurance. They don't even allow you use insurance on that. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. And you have to find ways to try to make do what you have to make do.
Exactly.
A lot of people lose the show probably the last week.
It's the hardest week of all.
Because now it's really a mind. Because I still got to train, do a little cardio. I gotta lift, and I'm hungry, Ronnie. I ain't gonna lie, Ronnie. I'm hungry.
I'm hungry the whole time, every single day. I can't wait till mealtime. As a matter of fact, Shannon, I was so tired in the gym, I couldn't even lift my weights and put them on the bar. I had to hire somebody to load my bar so I can lift it. And you watch my video, you'll see my best friend in the world, Lil Lee, loading up the weights, handing me the dumbbells, everything.
Right.
Because I was so tired and exhausted from eating 125 grams of carbs every day.
Right.
So like I said, I had carbs with 2 meals. And
you eat
I
6
burned that up, I'm eating 6. I burned that up on the treadmill.
Yes.
So by the time I got to the gym, I'm going off of heart, determination, dedication.
You're on fumes, Ronnie.
Yeah, I'm on fumes. And like I said, I never forget it. The first time I tried to load the weight and lift it, I called hell. By the time I loaded the weight on there,
that was a workout.
Tired. That was a workout right there. Because I'm loading.
You load weight.
I'm loading up some weight.
That's what's so amazing, Ronnie, is that even the last week, you still lifted.
I'm still lifting heavy. I'm still lifting heavy up to that last week. Like a couple of days out from the show, I kind of calmed down and do, a lot of lightweight, do a lot of whole bunch of reps.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I'm balls to the wall, going as hefty as I possibly can.
Did you like food? I mean,
I love the food because my mom was the greatest cook ever.
Because she cooked a lot of your meals for you.
She cooked all of my meals for me, and it was like the food was so good. It was like I wasn't even on a diet. I'm putting barbecue sauce on it, ketchup, on my fries. People think those were actually French fries. What I did was bought a crinkle cutter, cut them up with that crinkle cutter, sprayed a little Pam on the bottom of the tray, and then I would spray the top to give it that brown look. And put it in the oven, let it cook for about 45 minutes. I even had a timer. So I would time it for 45 minutes. When they got ready, they were golden brown and crispy. They looked just like French fries.
Right.
And everybody thought I was eating French fries, but I was just eating cut up potatoes with a crinkle cutter made to look like French fries. And it's kind of a psychological thing too.
You got to play tricks with your body. You got to play tricks with your mind
and body. Yeah, exactly. Because man, some of them days were kind of dark.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us a glimpse of the last. Let's just say the show's on a Saturday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You got prejudging going to be in that morning. Then you got the night show.
Yep.
Give us probably the last 3 days, because you're probably going to arrive if the show is on Saturday. You're probably going to get there Thursday.
No,
you got there Wednesday.
I got there Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there and get acclimated because we on Central Time here.
Right.
They're on Pacific Time over there. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get there and get acclimated to that time.
Right.
That time don't change. And it takes a couple days, to get acclimated to that.
Finding where you're going to get your food at, what you're going to get.
Yeah, I take all my food with me.
Okay, you took all your food?
I took all my food with me. My mom would cook it, and I would put it in this cooler. I had like a plastic cooler, but it kept the food real nice and warm, kept what I needed cold. And I would take all my food with me and eat all my food for about 2 days. Mm-hmm. I got there on Tuesday. My mom came in on Thursday with another big bag of food.
Right.
So that was for the whole week. I weighed and measured everything I put in my mouth.
Wow.
I weighed it and measured it out. 16 ounces of protein, whatever carbs it was. Most of the time it was like 5 ounces of potatoes, 6 ounces of potatoes. And I weighed everything and measured everything to make sure I'm getting the appropriate amount of carbs, getting the appropriate amount of protein also.
Were you a big rice eater, or was it mainly for your carbs? Was mainly potatoes?
Mainly potatoes and rice.
Okay.
So I'm the most simplest eater out there.
Yeah.
And people don't believe this, but it's the truth. And I highly recommend no one try this. I didn't eat vegetables.
Huh?
I didn't like them.
So if your non-carb meals, what are you going to get?
Supplements. I was taking all these fiber supplements, iron supplements, everything.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my green vegetables in.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Only Ronnie Coleman can do that.
Yeah, because I'm not the biggest veggie eater either, but I understand that when I can't get a complex carb, a potato or rice, veggies is in it.
Not for me. I could never eat green vegetables no matter what I tried.
Wow.
Still to this day, I can't eat them.
How did you track your body? Did you track your body fat in the off season? Like, okay, I'm 275. Okay, I don't need to get over this because it's hard. The higher you get up there, you got to bring that down.
I weighed myself every single day, sometimes twice a day. sometimes 3 times a day. I'm weighing myself and, you know, trying to measure my fat. I remember I took this one test and my body fat was so low, it wasn't even 0.5%. It was 0.33. They would dip me underwater and my numbers were negative. It was like -2 body fat. And then they would use these calipers on my skin. That's why I had a little bit of fat. 0.33, not even 0.5%.
Man, you get a cold, man. You've been in the hospital about 7 days.
I ain't never got a cold. Never had the flu.
What?
Never ever had the flu. I don't get sick. I can remember 3 times in my life I was sick. I remember I was going to school one day, and I was junior high. I threw up on my way to school. The next time, I was in my apartment complex. I threw up and didn't go to work that day. And the last time I can remember was the first day I moved in my house. I threw up at midnight. I was in bed sleeping, and man, it just came out of nowhere. I threw up right there on the carpet, brand new carpet.
Damn.
But Vicky was there. She cleaned that up real good for me. And those were the only times that I can remember being like sick. You know, and nothing else. I think I had a cold maybe once or twice while I was coughing and stuff. I would get that every now and then. I couldn't tell you the last time I had one now. It's been so long. Well, I was just doing a little coughing that lasted maybe 3-4 days, something like that.
After you won the first Olympia in '98, how well did you sleep subsequent Olympias?
Well, the night after every Olympia, I never slept. I was too hyped up. But I slept 6 hours a day, every single day, all the way up to the show. 6 hours a day.
You was never rest like, damn, I sure hope I hit this peak. I sure hope I'm ready to go tomorrow morning.
Nope. Psychologically, I was ready. Mentally, I was ready. Right. Physically, I was ready. And I had that confidence that was so high, it didn't bother me in my sleeping. Right. I slept like a big old sleeping baby.
Ronnie, what are your PRs? If someone asked you, say, Ronnie, what's the most weight you've ever benched, squatted, deadlift, press?
I know them all. Bench, I did 500 for 5 or 6 reps. It's on tape. Deadlift is on tape, 800 for 2. Squat is on tape also, 800 for 2. I could have got 6, but that's, no here or there. Leg press, 2,300 for 9.
Right.
And, curling, I've curled 225 before for maybe like 7, 8 reps. But, I don't really count all that kind of stuff.
But you a military press, Ronnie, seated press for 315.
For 12, yeah.
And I think
lightweight.
I think the most amazing thing, Ronnie, was you doing those in that hot ass Dallas sun. The parking lot, you doing the walking lunge with 225.
That was kind of heavy, just a little bit heavy, but not that heavy. And I always look forward to doing it because that was one of my favorite exercises. And that where those striated glutes came from.
That's where that ham tie-in was going to come.
Yep.
That when you spin it around, and you see that Christmas tree in that lower back.
Yep, and them glutes.
Them glutes.
Yeah, that's my favorite shot from the back with my hands out. But I did that walking lunge every single week out there in that parking lot. I remember one time it was snowing outside. I'm like, here we go.
You got to do
slipping and sliding. Right. I'm out there slipping and sliding with 225, doing my walking lunges.
Right.
So no matter what, hell or high water, I'm doing my walking lunges.
Ronnie, when it comes to like the back, I look at you and most of the Olympians, if you go back and look at it, guys that have won multiple.
I gotta have a back.
Lee Haney
had the back.
Dorian Yates
had the back.
Ronnie Coleman
had the back.
Even if he didn't win but one, Seymour.
Yeah, he had a good back.
Joel Stubbs, he didn't win, but he had a great back.
He had a great back.
You look at Phil, back.
Good back, yeah.
Kai Green didn't win one, back.
Back.
If I were to say everybody at their absolute best, and I put y'all up on the stage, who winning best? Who winning back? Who winning back double by? Rear lat spread?
All of those belong to me. Real lights out legs. Yep, and double by every single time. I'm gonna win every single time. So those are my shots.
That's your shot. That's the money. You knew
my money.
If it was close and we got to the back, it was over for y'all.
It was lights out, real lat spread, and that's why I called it on stage. We were doing this thing called the challenge round.
I remember that.
And me and Jay, only two guys left for first and second. It's lights out, real lat spread. Game over. Yeah, buddy.
Ronnie, give me your Mount Rushmore bodybuilders.
Okay, we got Arnold at the top. You got Lee Haney in second place. I'm going to say third since I got 8 Olympias. I'm going to put old Phil in fourth since he got 7 Olympias. And I guess I put Dorian in since he got
He can't get up there. You ain't got but 4 spots, right?
He out of it. He didn't make it. Those are my top bodybuilders in the world today.
Ronnie, and I don't know if this had played a role. I remember when you lost, and I think it was 2005, 2006 when you lost to Jay? 2006.
Yeah.
They changed the format because remember they moved, it was one day, it was on a Friday and then a Saturday.
Yep, exactly.
Do you think that played a role in you not getting 9? Because normally it's in the morning.
That didn't have anything to do with it. For the most part, body kind of gave out on me. My back got to the point where I could barely stand on stage.
Really?
I was in so much pain. I mean, I was dying out there. But they changed that format actually in 2001. Yep, it was 2001 because I remember I was losing the prejudging because I had already did the Arnold Classic. And I'd never, ever done that before. My body was so tired and so exhausted. I was going to the hospital the morning of the 2001 Mr. Olympia. I never forget it. The night before, my girl was putting on my tan. I was in the bathroom talking I had my friends over there, talking to my friends. And all of a sudden, I faint. And I wake up and I'm in the bathtub. And I'm like, what the hell happened? I'm asking everybody, what happened? How did I get in this bathtub? They're like, dude, you fainted. I'm like, what? They was like, yeah, you fainted. I'm like, oh, man, what's up with that? Well, the next morning I wake up, I can't even get out of bed. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's over. And I was so tired and so exhausted, I felt like I was dying. I mean, I don't really know how it feels when a person is dying, but the way I felt, it felt like it was over. I didn't have no energy. I was tired. I was exhausted. I couldn't get out of bed because my leg was so heavy. And I called Chad. I like, Chad, I'm going to the hospital. I was like, forget this Olympia stuff, I ain't trying to die for no show.
Right.
I don't need it that bad. And Shad said, man, no, you don't work too hard for that. You don't put too much into this. And I'm like, man, but he's like, just grab some water and drink until you feel better. Well, I grabbed a gallon of water and I drank the whole thing.
Ah, man, come on, man. You gonna spill over now?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I got to that stage and I was watered down. And they like, man, you losing the show check. And you say, they got you in second place. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. He's like, we got to go to the room. We got to pull all this water off of you. So that's what we did. We went to the room. Chad hit me with that powder.
Right.
And I started peeing for about at least 2 hours.
Right.
Every 20 minutes I was going to the bathroom. And I peed so much water off me that I was back to my old self again. So at the night show, the old Ronnie came back and won that show. And man, that was the hardest Olympia and the hardest show I've ever competed in, because I ain't never ever felt like I was dying. That was my clue to body only peaks once a year, and you got to pick the show that you gonna go
peak in.
Peak in. And I never did the Arnold Classic again.
Never did it again. You never did it again. And I remember that because you almost lost 0-1.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They had Jay in first, me in second.
But you came back.
Mm-hmm.
And then 0-2 was close again. And they say, Ronnie, man, they gaining on you. And you say, you want bigger? Is that what y'all want?
I came in because they told me, man, you getting too big. You need to come in a little lighter. Come in flat if you have to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So that's what I did.
Right.
I came in a little lighter, came in a little flat, and they was like, man, you can't look like that again. We're going to have to take this thing from you. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I ain't going out like that.
Right.
So I used to take 3 months off after every Olympia. 2002, not that year. I'm like, they are not taking this from me. They want to go to war, I'll take
them to war.
I'll take them to war. And that was the attitude that I went to the gym with every single day. And I was trying to lift the gym up. I would put weight stack held 250 pounds. I'm putting another 245 on there and trying to get as many reps as possible. Because they ain't taking this Olympia from me.
Right.
I don't work too hard
to get this spot.
To get this spot. And it was like that every single day. They want to go to war, I'll take them to war.
If you go on stage at 285, how big did you get in the offseason?
330.
What?
330 pounds in all season.
Oh my goodness. If you had
5'11".
If you had to guess at 285 pounds when you stepped on stage, what do you think your body fat was?
0.33 or less.
Even at 85, 285?
Yep, even at 285. I was that lean. Because when I did the 0.33, I wasn't even in contest shape. I was like 6 weeks out, something like that.
Wow. So
I can imagine what I'd be in contest shape.
Right.
Negative numbers, probably. So at 285, I'm probably right around that same body fat.
When you walked out, I remember watching it. You walked out. You had the crown on. You had the cloak, and you had in your hand.
I'm the king.
You had the king. Did you know that they had to, Ronnie, when they saw you backstage, they had to know it was over.
Yep, they knew it was over.
Because nobody had ever been that big, that conditioned.
Yep.
I mean, the guys get that big in the off season, but they ain't nearly that conditioned.
No.
But for you to get that size and be conditioned, I mean, you could still see the Christmas tree.
Yep.
You still had the striated glutes that went into the hamstring. Everything
still there. And
you had the striated delts.
I knew it was over with. I'm gonna come out and show you. I'm gonna come out with this king outfit.
But did you know that probably there was not a chance that you were gonna ever be able to get that way, look like that again?
Anything is possible. That's what I always say. Anything is possible. And after that, I did, you know, come in at 295 in the, I think it was 2004, I think I was 295 on stage. Of course, I wasn't as ripped,
right?
You know, at 295, but I was still pretty big and pretty hard. I still had striated glutes.
Right.
I still had all of my striations, just not as crispy.
Not as crisp, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, still won.
Right, yeah, you won.
Bottom line is I still won, you know.
When did you know it was over? When did you know, like, this is it. This is my last Olympia. I got nothing else to give to this sport. I've given everything I possibly can to this sport, and it's over.
2007, I was standing on stage, and they was going through comparison. And, man, I was really struggling to stand on stage. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is it. I ain't doing no more after this. Because just to stand on stage, I was in a lot of pain, excruciating pain. And it would start in my feet and go all the way up to my hips. And just to walk was a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I came off stage, I would have to go and sit down because I couldn't stand no longer. And I knew right then on stage, it's over. Bob handed me the mic and I completely fell apart, you know, trying to tell everybody this was it, and you know my time has come. You know, it was very heartbreaking. You know how it is. Mm-hmm. You have to retire from the sport that you love so much. You got so much passion for. Like I say, I'd do it for free. You know, if I had to, and I did it for free as an amateur.
Yeah, but you know the mind is willing, but the body just isn't able.
The body can't keep up with it. You know, they said. Nobody has defeated Father Time, and nobody ever will.
Did you know, you said you hurt your back in high school, you hurt your neck in high school.
Yeah.
But did you think it, I mean, from 2017, you had like 12, 13 surgeries. Your back had everything fused. I think you got maybe one of your own vertebrae in your back, your hips.
Yep.
Did you think it was going to get this bad, Ronnie?
Never in a million years did I think it would get this bad. I've had 13 surgeries, like you said. I've had 8 back surgeries, 3 neck, 2 hip, and I'm still hanging there.
Yeah.
I'm still working out 6 days a week, and I still got that passion.
I read where you said, internally, everything's fine. I feel internally, all my organs are functioning properly. My kidneys are doing, my liver's doing what it's supposed to do.
Everything's going good.
My heart, everything.
Everything.
It's just at my back and my hips, my knees.
Balance is pretty much gone for the most part.
Do you look back and like, man, you don't think squatting up, right? I mean, think about how much weight.
That's a lot of weight.
Over the course of your career that you've lifted.
47 years.
Yes.
Is what I got.
You done lifted millions of pounds. Not thousands, millions of pounds.
Millions of pounds. And, you know, that takes a toll on the body.
Yes.
You know, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And that's what happened to me in 2007. All that banging and heavy lifting finally caught up with me, and it was time to go.
Do you ever look back, you're home with your beautiful family, sitting in bed like, damn, was it all worth it?
Never. To this day, I said if I had to do over again, the only thing I would do is squat that 800.
Man, that 800 still bothers you.
That 800 still bothers me after all this time. I'm like, man, I blew it. my opportunity to squat 800 for 6 reps.
You remember that?
I remember like it was yesterday. I remember putting it up. I'm like, why did I put this up? I had at least 4 more reps in me. If you go back and listen to the tape, you'll hear me say, oh man, that was light. I should have did more reps.
Did you think about, because I remember the same thing, I thought the same thing. I remember I was working out in Rose Gym, and I went up to the 170-pound dumbbells. And other than you, I'm the only one that's ever moved those.
Yeah.
So I did 5 reps with it. And I was like, Rose said, dog, you can do the 180s. Only Ronnie Coleman has ever done those 180s. And I remember saying to myself, dog, I get them next week. Because I had already did the 140, the 150, 160, 170. I say, I'm a little tired. I said, I'll get it next week. Next week never came. Yep. And that's my only regret of the weight room is that I didn't at least attempt the 180s because you were the only one that's ever moved them.
Yep. That wasn't nothing for me back in the day. That was lightweight.
Because you was moving them like they were 100.
Yeah, man, I did 200 for 12 reps, you know.
Right.
So 180s ain't nothing.
How did winning the Olympia, how did that change Ronnie Coleman's life?
Man, I was a lot more richer. I was broke for 34 years of my life. My first Olympia year, I finally made some money.
You got some money.
Finally made some money. I finally came up in the world. So it was the greatest feeling ever to finally make some money where I didn't have to, worry about my next meal or worry about house note, car note, and all of that stuff. So it was the greatest feeling ever to this day. I mean, can't nothing top that. Like I said, winning that first Olympia, it was the greatest feeling ever. It was so good and so great. I can't even describe how good it was, how wonderful it was to finally win something that I truly enjoyed doing. I had the most passion in the world for doing. It's hard to put in words. It's just that enjoyable. It's hard to put in words because, like I said, I never even dreamed about winning the Olympics because I never thought it was possible.
Right.
I got into bodybuilding for a free membership to the gym and never even considered winning the Olympia. All I was thinking about, hey, I get a chance to work out for free. And I'm gonna make the best. I'm gonna do my best, when I get up there on stage, because, that's how athletes, us athletes think. We got to be our best at everything we do, and we got to challenge ourselves to be even better. And that's what I was doing every time I went to the gym.
When it comes to fame in bodybuilding, I mean, really only is Arnold and then you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go, even these new bodybuilders, it's you. I mean, I see the crowds. I mean, I remember when the expos and when you came and it's like the Red Sea party because everybody wanted to see you. Yep. Everybody just wanted to say, I saw him. I touched his arm. He's bigger. He's bigger than you think.
Exactly. That's what I hear all the time. And social media has taken my career to another level. I'm more busier now than I've ever been in my whole entire life. This year is the busiest year ever that I've had in my career because I've been on the road at least every single weekend, just about. Every single week. I've been going for weeks at a time. Wow. Sometimes 2 weeks at a time. And it's been going on since January. And this is the only time I've had off in a long time. I got 2 weeks to be at home, and I'm hitting the road again.
What if they had social media back when you was doing what you was doing, Ronnie?
Man, I'd be the king of the world. Pretty close to it now, but I'll be on a whole nother level of being king of the world.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before two something.